Okay, so there were some rumors before the TGAs that a new Arcane Studios game would be revealed, and so it came to be. But I don't think too many people could have guessed that it would be a Marvel Studios collaboration, and it's Blade, the Vampire Hunter. And wow, really interesting, different looking trailer. Again, not much given away, but certainly very stylistic from a rendering perspective. I'm going to go to you, Alex, on this one.
Yeah, from a rendering perspective here, I'm gonna say I don't know if it's actually real time. Just
Right.
because I look at the history of the engines that they've used, it's primarily Void and Leon. And that one, they've used that Void
Yeah.
engine for a while since Dishonored, Deathloop, and they've upgraded it. And I don't think they would dump it for their next title. But here they showed off like in this trailer, which I don't think was real time. Like I'm gonna say, it had like hallmarks of things where couldn't see any geometry edges on a lot of things, on anything actually, and the indirect lighting to, unless they upgraded Void or they switched to UE5, I almost want to say like this is not real time, but that's a shame if that is the truth of it. But I think it's great because they're showing off one, Blade being in Paris, which is I'm so grateful when a game doesn't take place in New York, because every game does, and you know it's awesome to see different world locations with their own history and language. It's incredible, and I would love to see what they do with that, especially considering they said it is not some open world game or something. It's not going to be like Redfall or whatever. It's going to be a single player action game with Arkane styling. And that's going to mean most likely, you know, like a high emphasis on like how you interact with the AI, multiple ridiculous user thought out paths to complete objectives. That's what they do there, and they do very, very well. And then you apply it to this world of what is essentially like some sort of vampire hunter, who's just really cool. And I can't wait to see what they do with it as a result. Rendering things that they think they're going to carry over to the trailer to whenever we see what is presumably going to be in-game graphics is, it seems like any gradient of lighting has comic book style, like printing errors in it. Like, you know, how you see like the punctual printing ink there, like you see in a comic book. I kind of like that, and I would like to see more of that in games too, because it's moved. You know, films ever since those like Spider-Verse movies came out, a lot of CG has been going back to the drawing board of actually trying to maintain an animated look to things that isn't just perfectly smooth and you know, like perfectly path trace rendered. They'll still use path tracing, but it'll be then painted over, or you know, etc. They'll actually make individual poses for frames that snap, things like that. I'd like to see more of that in games, and this is a perfect opportunity for them to do it. Deathloop was already a little bit stylized in a great way, so them continuing that tradition into this would be awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, Oliver. I mean, it's a really exciting opportunity here, which is that, you know, obviously there's been a big bunch of superhero games, and you know that a formula has been established, right? But you know, you throw Arcane into the mix, and all bets are off.
Yeah, I think this seems like kind of the natural counterpart to something like the Insomniac Wolverine game or the Insomniac Spider-Man games. I mean, it literally is the same licensor of the IP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Arcane seems like an interesting fit. I mean, I hope they do something interesting with it outside of the typical superhero type action titles. I'm sure they will, and certainly from all the press surrounding this title so far, that sounds like they will. The visuals look absolutely stunning. Like, I love what they've done with the art. But like Alex said, I don't think it's real time. I hope it turns out well, and I hope it doesn't turn out like Arcane's other exploration with non-Arcane genre titles.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at least I think what we can say here is that they are at least setting out their stall in terms of the style to expect from a visual perspective, right? You know, because they want to say that this is going to be different. I think they did a great job with that. Obviously, though, in terms of what you're actually going to do in the game, we just have no idea at this point. Again, just a tease, just an announcement. But interesting nonetheless. And it was, you know, great to see a developer like Arcane that hasn't had the best of years finish it with, you know, a real high point, I think, which is pretty awesome.